Freedom is waiting for you right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more ready or more confident. Right now. But here's what's keeping you from it. Your fear of conflict. You've been taught to avoid it, to keep the peace, to not rock the boat. You've been conditioned to believe that conflict is bad, that it's something to run from, something to smooth over with a fake smile and a polite nod. But what if I told you that your fear of conflict is the very thing that's keeping you trapped in a life that doesn't serve you? You see, conflict isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's the doorway to your freedom. Every time you avoid conflict, you're choosing someone else's comfort over your own truth. Every time you bite your tongue when you should speak up, you're betraying yourself. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you're building a prison around your soul. Think about it. When was the last time you really stood up for yourself? When was the last time you said what you really thought, even when you knew it might upset someone? When was the last time you chose your own peace of mind over keeping someone else happy? If you're struggling to answer these questions, then you're living in fear, and fear is not freedom. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is the real thing. And yet so many people spend their entire lives tiptoeing around other people's feelings, walking on eggshells, pretending to be someone they're not just to avoid a difficult conversation. They sacrifice their dreams, their desires, their very essence on the altar of keeping the peace. But what kind of peace is it really? You're at war with yourself? The truth is, you came into this world with everything you need to live an authentic life. You didn't come here to be liked by everyone. You didn't come here to make everyone comfortable. You came here to express your unique truth, to live your purpose, to be exactly who you are meant to be. But somewhere along the way, you learned that being yourself might cause conflict, so you started hiding parts of yourself away. You learned that having boundaries might upset people, so you let them walk all over you. You learned that saying no might disappoint someone, so you said yes to things that drained your energy and your soul. You learned that speaking your truth might create tension, so you swallowed your words and let others speak for you. And now you're wondering why you feel so empty, so lost, so disconnected from your own life. The reason you feel this way is because you're not living your life, you're living a performance. You're playing a role that you think others want you to play, but it's not who you really are. And the gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be is filled with resentment, frustration, and a quiet desperation that grows stronger every day. But here's the beautiful truth. You can change this right now. You can stop living in fear of conflict and start living in alignment with your truth. You can stop sacrificing your authenticity for the illusion of harmony. You can stop betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. The power to change your life is already within you. You just need to remember how to use it. Conflict is not the opposite of love. Conflict is love in action. When you care enough about someone to be honest with them, even when it's difficult, that's love. When you respect someone enough to tell them the truth instead of what you think they want to hear, that's love. When you trust someone enough to show them who you really are, even if it creates some tension, that's love. Think about the people in your life who you respect the most. Are they the ones who always tell you what you want to hear? Are they the ones who never challenge you or disagree with you? No. The people you respect most are the ones who are willing to be honest with you, even when it's hard. They're the ones who care more about your growth than your comfort. They're the ones who aren't afraid of a little conflict if it means helping you become a better person. And yet, you're so afraid of being that person for others. You're so afraid of creating conflict that you rob people of the gift of your honesty. You rob them of the opportunity to know the real you. You rob them of the chance to have a genuine relationship with you because you're too busy managing their emotions and protecting their feelings. But whose feelings are you really protecting? Are you protecting theirs, or are you protecting yourself from the discomfort of seeing someone upset? Are you avoiding conflict because you care so much about others, or are you avoiding it because you're afraid of not being liked? Are you keeping the peace, or are you just keeping yourself safe? The truth is, most of the time when we avoid conflict, we're not doing it for other people, we're doing it for ourselves. We're afraid of rejection. We're afraid of criticism. We're afraid of being seen as difficult or demanding or selfish. We're afraid that if we show people who we really are, they might not like us. So we hide, we pretend, we perform, and we call it being nice. But being nice is not the same as being good. Being nice is about managing other people's emotions. Being good is about being true to yourself and your values. Being nice is about avoiding discomfort. Being good is about doing what's right, even when it's hard. Being nice is about being liked. Being good is about being respected, starting with respecting yourself. You cannot have a meaningful life while you're busy being nice to everyone. You cannot have authentic relationships while you're performing for people. You cannot have freedom while you're enslaved to other people's opinions. You cannot have peace while you're at war with your own truth. Every time you choose to avoid conflict, you're choosing to avoid life. Because life is messy. Life is complicated. Life involves disagreements and difficult conversations and uncomfortable moments. Life involves standing up for what you believe in, even when others don't understand. Life involves being yourself, even when yourself doesn't fit into the neat little box that others want to put you in. The people who live the most fulfilling lives are not the ones who never have conflict. They're the ones who have learned to navigate conflict with grace and courage. They're the ones who understand that conflict is not the enemy of relationships, it's the pathway to deeper connection. They're the ones who know that avoiding conflict doesn't create peace, it creates distance. Think about your closest relationships. Are they the ones where you never disagree? Are they the ones where you always see eye to eye? No, your closest relationships are the ones where you can be yourself, even when that self is difficult or complex or contradictory. They're the ones where you can have hard conversations and come out stronger on the other side. They're the ones where conflict has actually brought you closer together because it allowed you to understand each other better. This is what you're missing when you avoid conflict. You're missing the opportunity for real connection. You're missing the chance to be known for who you really are. You're missing the possibility of relationships that are based on truth rather than performance. You're missing the freedom that comes from being authentic. But how do you start? How do you begin to overcome this fear of conflict that has been controlling your life? It starts with understanding that conflict is not about winning or losing. It's not about proving you're right and the other person is wrong. It's not about attack or defense. Conflict, when approached with wisdom and love, is about understanding. It's about expressing your truth and creating space for others to express theirs. The first step is to stop seeing conflict as a threat and start seeing it as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to deepen your relationships, an opportunity to practice courage, an opportunity to live more authentically. The second step is to remember that you are not responsible for other people's emotions. You are not responsible for making everyone comfortable. You are not responsible for managing other people's reactions to your truth. You are only responsible for expressing your truth with love and respect. What they do with that truth is up to them. This doesn't mean you should go around picking fights or being deliberately hurtful. It doesn't mean you should be cruel or insensitive or aggressive. It means you should be honest. It means you should be yourself. It means you should speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. It means you should set boundaries, even when others don't like them. It means you should honor your own needs and desires, even when others don't understand them. You've been taught that conflict is bad, but what if conflict is actually sacred? What if conflict is the universe's way of pushing you to grow? What if conflict is life's way of showing you where you need to be braver, more honest, more authentic? What if conflict is your soul's way of demanding that you stop hiding and start living? Every great leader in history has understood this. Every person who has made a difference in this world has been willing to face conflict. They've been willing to be misunderstood. They've been willing to be criticized. They've been willing to stand alone if necessary, not because they enjoyed conflict, but because they understood that avoiding conflict means avoiding growth, avoiding change, avoiding the very thing that makes life worth living. You have something unique to offer this world. You have a voice that only you can speak. You have gifts that only you can give. You have a purpose that only you can fulfill. But none of this matters if you're too afraid of conflict to let it out. None of this matters if you're so busy trying to be what others want you to be that you forget who you really are. The world doesn't need another person who agrees with everyone. The world doesn't need another person who never rocks the boat. The world doesn't need another person who hides their light under a bushel to avoid making others uncomfortable. The world needs you, the real you, the authentic you, the you who is willing to stand up for what you believe in, even when it's scary. Your children need to see you living authentically. They need to see you setting boundaries. They need to see you speaking your truth. They need to see you navigating conflict with courage and grace. Because how else will they learn to do the same? How else will they learn that it's safe to be themselves in a world that's constantly trying to make them into someone else? Your partner needs to know who you really are. They need to hear your real thoughts and feelings. They need to see your real struggles and dreams. They need to experience the real you, not the performance you've been putting on to keep the peace. Because a relationship built on performance is not a relationship at all. It's a house of cards that will eventually collapse. Your friends need your honesty. They need your authenticity. They need your willingness to have difficult conversations. They need your courage to speak truth into their lives, even when it's uncomfortable. Because friends who only tell you what you want to hear are not friends, they're enablers. Your workplace needs your unique perspective. They need your ideas and your insights and your willingness to challenge the status quo. They need your courage to speak up when something isn't working. They need your authenticity to cut through the corporate politeness and get to the real issues. But most of all, you need this. You need to stop betraying yourself. You need to stop sacrificing your truth on the altar of keeping everyone comfortable. You need to stop living in fear of what others might think or say or do. You need to start living for yourself, from yourself, as yourself. This is not selfish. This is sacred. This is not about being difficult. This is about being real. This is not about creating problems. This is about solving the biggest problem of all. The problem of living a life that isn't really yours. When you stop being afraid of conflict, something magical happens. You start attracting people who appreciate your authenticity. You start having relationships that are based on truth rather than performance. You start feeling aligned with your own life because you're finally living it according to your own values and desires. The people who can't handle the real you were never meant to be in your life anyway. The people who need you to be someone else in order to love you don't actually love you, they love their idea of you. The people who are threatened by your authenticity are the people who are still living in fear themselves. But the people who stay, the people who love you for who you really are, these are your people. These are the relationships that will sustain you and support you and celebrate you. These are the connections that will make your life rich and meaningful and full. You see, when you're not afraid of conflict, you're not afraid of life. You're not afraid to take risks. You're not afraid to try new things. You're not afraid to fail. You're not afraid to succeed. You're not afraid to be seen. You're not afraid to be yourself. And when you're not afraid to be yourself, you give others permission to be themselves too. You create a space where authenticity is valued over niceness. You create an environment where truth is more important than comfort. You create a world where people can be real with each other instead of performing for each other. This is your gift to the world. This is your contribution to making life better for everyone, not by avoiding conflict, but by facing it with courage and wisdom. Not by keeping everyone comfortable, but by creating space for everyone to be real. Not by hiding your light, but by shining it brightly for all to see. The time for hiding is over. The time for pretending is over. The time for sacrificing your truth to keep others comfortable is over. The time for living in fear of conflict is over. Your time is now, your moment is now, your life is now. Stop waiting for permission to be yourself. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to speak your truth. Stop waiting for others to change before you start living authentically. Stop waiting for conflict to become comfortable before you're willing to face it. Stop waiting for life to become easier before you start really living it. The truth is, Life is never going to be without conflict. There will always be disagreements. There will always be difficult conversations. There will always be people who don't understand you or agree with you or like you. This is not a bug in the system, it's a feature. This is not something to be fixed, it's something to be accepted and navigated with wisdom. You cannot control other people's reactions to your truth, but you can control whether or not you speak it. You cannot control whether or not others will agree with your decisions, but you can control whether or not you make them. You cannot control whether or not people will like the real you, but you can control whether or not you let them see the real you. This is where your power lies, not in controlling outcomes, but in controlling your choices. Not in managing other people's emotions, but in honoring your own. Not in avoiding conflict, but in approaching it with integrity and courage. Every day you have countless opportunities to choose authenticity over performance. Every day you have countless opportunities to choose truth over comfort. Every day you have countless opportunities to choose freedom over fear. The question is not whether these opportunities will come, they will. The question is whether you will have the courage to take them. Your future self is counting on you. The person you're meant to become is waiting for you to stop being afraid of conflict and start being willing to face it. The life you're meant to live is waiting for you to stop hiding and start showing up as yourself. The relationships you're meant to have are waiting for you to stop performing and start being real. But none of this will happen automatically. None of this will happen without your conscious choice to change. None of this will happen without your willingness to be uncomfortable in service of your authenticity. None of this will happen without your courage to face conflict when it arises. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about one area of your life where you've been avoiding conflict. Maybe it's a relationship where you've been saying yes when you mean no. Maybe it's a job where you've been staying quiet when you should speak up. Maybe it's a situation where you've been pretending to be someone you're not to keep the peace. Think about the cost of this avoidance. Think about what it's costing you in terms of your energy, your authenticity, your peace of mind. Think about what it's costing you in terms of your relationships, your growth, your connection to yourself. Think about what it's costing you in terms of your freedom. Now think about what it would look like to face this conflict with courage and grace. Think about what it would look like to speak your truth with love and respect. Think about what it would look like to honor your own needs and boundaries. Think about what it would look like to be yourself, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Feel the fear, feel the anxiety, feel the uncertainty, but don't let these feelings stop you. Feel them, acknowledge them, thank them for trying to protect you, and then act anyway. Because courage is not the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of fear. You have everything you need to do this. You have the wisdom to know what's right for you. You have the strength to stand up for yourself. You have the love to approach conflict with kindness and respect. You have the courage to face whatever comes your way. The only thing standing between you and the life you really want is your fear of conflict. And that fear is not real. It's just a story you've been telling yourself. It's just a belief you've been carrying around. It's just a habit you've been practicing. And like any story, any belief, any habit, it can be changed. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not a prisoner of other people's expectations. You are not condemned to live a life of performance and pretense. You are a powerful, creative, authentic being who has the ability to choose how you respond to every situation, including conflict. So choose courage, choose authenticity, choose truth, choose freedom, choose yourself. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's real. Not because it will avoid conflict, but because it will transform conflict from your enemy into your teacher. Your life is waiting for you to claim it. Your truth is waiting for you to speak it. Your freedom is waiting for you to choose it. And it all starts with one simple decision: to stop being afraid of conflict and start being willing to face it with an open heart and a courageous spirit. The time is now. The moment is now. You are ready now. Stop being afraid of conflict and start being free. Your authentic life is calling you. Will you answer? There's something else I want you to understand about conflict that might surprise you. Every single person you admire, every person who has made a meaningful impact in this world, every person who has lived a life of significance, they all had to overcome this same fear you're facing right now. They all had to make the choice between comfort and authenticity. They all had to decide whether they were going to live their lives or live other people's expectations of their lives. And what did they choose? They chose to be uncomfortable. They chose to risk disapproval. They chose to stand for something even when it meant standing alone. They chose to be themselves even when being themselves meant facing criticism, rejection, or misunderstanding. They understood something that you must understand too, that the pain of conflict is temporary, but the pain of betraying yourself lasts forever. You see, there are two types of pain in this world. There's the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. The pain of having a difficult conversation with someone you care about might last for minutes or hours, but the pain of never having that conversation, of never being truly known, of never being truly free, that pain can last a lifetime. When you avoid conflict, you're not avoiding pain, you're just choosing a different kind of pain. You're choosing the pain of feeling disconnected from your own life. You're choosing the pain of wondering who you might have been if you had been braver. You're choosing the pain of lying in bed at night, knowing that you sold out your truth for the illusion of peace. But here's what happens when you start choosing the pain of discipline instead of the pain of regret. You start to build trust with yourself. Every time you speak up when you should speak up, you prove to yourself that you are worthy of standing up for. Every time you say no when you mean no, you prove to yourself that your boundaries matter. Every time you choose authenticity over approval, you prove to yourself that you are brave enough to live your own life. And this trust with yourself is the foundation of all other trust. When you trust yourself to handle conflict, you trust yourself to handle anything. When you trust yourself to speak your truth, you trust yourself to live your truth. When you trust yourself to be authentic, you trust yourself to be free. This is why facing conflict is so transformative. It's not just about resolving the immediate situation. It's about proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws at you. It's about building the confidence that comes from knowing you won't abandon yourself when things get difficult. It's about creating the inner strength that comes from aligning your actions with your value. But let me tell you something else that's important. When you start living authentically, when you start being willing to face conflict, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to say things you wish you hadn't said. You're going to handle situations in ways you wish you had handled differently. You're going to learn through trial and error, through success and failure, through comfort and discomfort. This is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. This is a sign that you're doing something right. This is a sign that you're living, not just existing. This is a sign that you're growing, not just surviving. This is a sign that you're learning to be human, not just learning to be nice. The goal is not perfection. The goal is not to never make mistakes or never hurt anyone's feelings or never face criticism. The goal is to be real. The goal is to be yourself. The goal is to live with integrity even when it's messy. The goal is to be brave even when you're scared. The goal is to be free even when freedom comes with a price. And here's something beautiful that happens when you stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be real. Other people start feeling safe to be real around you too. When you show up authentically, you give others permission to drop their masks. When you're willing to be vulnerable, you create space for others to be vulnerable. When you're willing to have difficult conversations, you model what real intimacy looks like. This is how you change the world, not by being perfect, but by being real. Not by never having conflict, but by handling conflict with wisdom and love. Not by making everyone comfortable, but by creating space for everyone to be themselves. Not by avoiding difficult conversations, but by showing others that difficult conversations can be had with respect and care. You have the power to change the entire dynamic of your relationships simply by changing how you show up. You have the power to create deeper connections simply by being willing to be yourself. You have the power to inspire others to be more authentic simply by being more authentic yourself. But this power comes with responsibility. The responsibility to use your voice wisely. The responsibility to speak your truth with love. The responsibility to engage in conflict with the intention of understanding, not winning. The responsibility to be honest without being cruel. The responsibility to be authentic without being selfish. This is the difference between healthy conflict and destructive conflict. Healthy conflict is about expressing your truth and creating space for others to express theirs. Destructive conflict is about proving you're right and making others wrong. Healthy conflict is about building bridges. Destructive conflict is about building walls. Healthy conflict is about growing together. Destructive conflict is about tearing each other down. You get to choose which type of conflict you engage in. You get to choose whether your honesty comes from love or from anger. You get to choose whether your authenticity serves connection or separation. You get to choose whether your willingness to face conflict creates healing or creates harm. And this choice, this moment-by-moment choice about how you show up in conflict is where your true power lies. This is where you get to demonstrate who you really are. This is where you get to practice the person you want to become. This is where you get to live your values, not just talk about them. When you approach conflict from a place of love, amazing things happen. When you're willing to be vulnerable about your needs and feelings, others often respond with understanding. When you're willing to listen to others' perspectives, they often become more willing to listen to yours. When you're willing to admit when you're wrong, this is the magic of authentic conflict. It's not about winning or losing, it's about understanding and being understood. It's about creating solutions that work for everyone. It's about building relationships that are based on truth rather than pretense. It's about creating a world where people can be real with each other instead of performing for each other. But it all starts with you. It starts with your willingness to be real. It starts with your willingness to face conflict. It starts with your willingness to speak your truth. It starts with your willingness to be yourself, even when being yourself is uncomfortable. You are not here to make everyone happy. You are not here to avoid all conflict. You are not here to live your life according to other people's expectations. You are here to express your unique gifts. You are here to live your purpose. You are here to be yourself fully and completely and authentically. And the world needs this from you. The world needs your unique perspective. The world needs your authentic voice. The world needs your willingness to stand up for what you believe in. The world needs your courage to face conflict when it arises. The world needs your commitment to being real, even when being real is scary. So stop waiting for permission to be yourself. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to speak your truth. Stop waiting for others to make it safe for you to be authentic. Stop waiting for conflict to become comfortable before you're willing to face it. The permission you're waiting for can only come from you. The safety you're seeking can only be created by you. The freedom you're longing for can only be claimed by you. This is your moment. This is your choice. This is your life. You can continue to live in fear of conflict, or you can choose to see conflict as your teacher, your friend, your pathway to freedom. You can continue to sacrifice your authenticity for the illusion of harmony, or you can choose to create real harmony by being real yourself. The choice is yours, the power is yours, the freedom is yours. All you have to do is stop being afraid of conflict and start being willing to face it with an open heart, a courageous spirit, and an unwavering commitment to being yourself. Your authentic life is waiting for you. Your freedom is waiting for you. Your truth is waiting for you. And it all begins when you stop being afraid of conflict and start being willing to face it with love.